Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I first of all start by thanking the administration for the amendment to the amendment that you made. You used that to acknowledge that digital exclusion is a real issue, and I appreciate that. It's something that I take very personally. I think this is a social justice issue, and I appreciate that wording being added. Mr. Mayor, access to cash is a social justice issue. The 2019 Access to Cash review that the government launched stated that 17% of our population would struggle to cope in a cashless society. They found that 1.5 million people in the UK don't have a bank account, that 9% are at risk of greater debt in a cashless society, and that 2% of the UK have got a physical or mental health issue that makes it difficult for them to rely on digital financial services. Mr. Mayor, it's worth asking who needs cash in this situation. Small businesses who are often required to pay a transaction fee for every payment by card. If customers are walking into a store, tapping their contactless card for a £1 item, that business can sometimes have to pay as much as 5p of their profits towards that. I think at a time when our businesses are stretched, that's something to worry about. Mr. Mayor, older residents often pay their friends or relative in cash as they help them to shop. And we know as well that low-income families rely heavily on cash. Mr. Mayor, the same report found that 80% of the elderly and 75% of those on low incomes rely on cash. A cashless society is imminent, but unfortunately it will be discriminatory. Mr. Mayor, Havering Council has a duty to protect the vulnerable, and the motion before us has three asks. We're asking that we protect access to cash, that we promote access to cash, and also that the Council accepts cash payments for all of its services. I want to start with the last of those, accepting cash payments. I'm aware, obviously, that that's a relatively expensive thing for the Council to do. To have someone go around and collect change from the parking machines can cost money. To have somebody taking your library fines or your council tax in cash, it's going to cost money to do so. But, Mr. Mayor, that's important for a large number of people in Romford and in Havering to be able to do that. Moving on from that, we're asking the Council to protect access to cash. This might sound a bizarre one to a lot of people. What has the Council got to do with our high street accepting cashless payments or not? Well, Mr. Mayor, the Council, as I said, has a duty to protect the vulnerable, and part of that duty is to lead by example and to make sure that our small businesses are able to offer certain services. In Rochford, in Essex, the Council supported what's known as a community bank. This was done in partnership with the Post Office, Santander, NatWest, Barclays, Lloyd and HSBC. Customers from all of those banks have got a specific physical place they can go to take cash from an ATM or to conduct cash transactions with their branch. That's a great example of where the Council can protect access to cash by providing a new service. Similarly, I've received emails this week from Link, the ATM provider that provides most of the ATMs across the country. They have a community cash point machine where communities can request that Link install a machine that is free to use. That, Mr. Mayor, is a great example of where the Council can protect access to cash by finding black spots where there is not ATM access and requesting community ATM installations. On the final part of the motion, promoting access to cash, Mr. Mayor, there are other things that the Council can do. There are national schemes, national campaigns that state we are happy to accept cash. And these are campaigns that small businesses and large businesses across the UK are taking part in. The Co-op have led by example in doing this, and I commend them for doing so. Asda has done the same thing, as has Marks and Spencer's and a number of other retail stores. Mr. Mayor, if we were to declare that Havering is a cash-friendly borough, if we were to work with our small businesses to make sure that they can take part in that scheme, if we were to promote happy to take cash across our borough, we may see a benefit to our small businesses as those that rely on cash for their transactions know that they have somewhere they can go. As I said multiple times, Mr. Mayor, the Council has a duty to protect our most vulnerable. I believe access to cash is a part of that. By protecting, promoting and accepting cash payments and access to cash, we'll be putting a stake in the ground and telling our most vulnerable that we hear their issues, we see their problems and we're willing to do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you.